We started with the Game Developers Guild. The Game Developers Guild in Norway started about in 2011 with Peter, for example, sitting here in front. And the way I like to tell it, at least, I wasn't around then, but was that a lot of the game developers in Bergen got together, had a few beers, and shared stories, shared the challenges and triumphs that they were all experiencing, and realized that they could learn a lot from each other. And instead of competing against each other, because they were competing against each other on a global scale, it seemed ridiculous, so they decided that they could learn more from each other, and together they could be stronger. So they started exchanging experiences and decided to formalize it, which Peter has been a strong part of, and they started the Game Developers Guild. The Game Developers Guild now is, oh, wait, is it 5 regions? Let's say 5 regions in Norway that there are game developer guilds. Wow, sorry. And it's just growing. So a lot of the game developers in Norway are starting to create their own guilds, and it is a sort of regional affair, but we also do have a national board as well. And so the whole goal of the Game Developers Guild is to get game development in Norway, or the game developing industry in Norway, up to a sustainable level. And that's why we started the Resource Center. Yeah, just 2 words about that. It was, I got introduced to the Game Developers Guild in 2012. I desperately wanted to work in the game industry, and I begged them to let me in somehow, and we started a conference called Consol, which basically meant that I had to go on the phone and beg people for money. And begging for money proved to be a difficult and very provocative task, but it also proved that it was a very good marketing tool. So the more people I called asking for money to help support the game developing industry in Norway, the more we realized that people started realizing that there actually is an industry in Norway. And so we started getting, phone calls, people asking, who do we call to get stuff developed? Who do we call to say things? And then we had a meeting with local government officials, and they sat there and said, well, maybe you guys should have your own center. And we said, oh, that's a cool idea. And here I am. So I'm project leader of this Norwegian Resource Center for Game Development. Yeah, a little bit about the industry. I mean, you guys probably know a lot about this, but we are over 100 game studios in Norway at the moment. We had a list which was over 100 when about half a year ago, and I didn't really believe that was true, and so we skimmed it, and I think we ended up with something like 83 studios. And then I had this. We went through this whole process of trying to find all the game developing studios, and we came up with a website that lists them and everything. And then ever since we launched that website, people have been calling up saying, oh, where's my studio? We have a game developing studio. And so that list just keeps sort of increasing the more people know about us, which is exciting. It's very exciting. But yes, sorry. So, I mean, this is one of the things that's been a topic of this conference. Everybody knows it. I feel like I'm repeating what everybody else has been saying. But it is that fact that, there are 100+ studios in Norway, and still very few government officials know that there is an industry growing in Norway, and also the studios are very small. They're very much run by developers themselves, so you don't have people that are specialists within marketing, within PR, business development that we've been talking about. So what we want with the Resource Center is to provide this help, and provide it by growing a network, and yeah. I think my goal is that you as a game developer can call the Resource Center and say, listen, we have a game that's about to launch. We thought maybe we'd go to GDC. Should we, first of all, go? If we go, who should we try to get in touch with? And would you be able to help us set up those meetings? And the goal is that we should be able to do that for you. But first of all, it is, we want to build up the economy of the game developing industry. So that means finding finances. There is, although the main public financing in Norway is the Norwegian Film Fund, there's still a whole lot of other funds that you can apply for money for public funding. So we're going to be trying to gather all that information as best as possible for you guys. But it's a lot, and I feel like I learn a new acronym every week. But it's good. So there's lots of money out there that you guys can apply for. It's just finding where to apply for that money is good. And also making sure that we get some private funding into game development as well. We think that will also help a little bit with the business development side. If you get investors, they're going to want to see a return of their investment, which is going to force the game developers to start thinking about marketing. They need to start thinking about, I need to sell this game. I can't just put it out there. I need to make sure that people want to buy this game. And also, of course, they'll increase the amount of capital that the game developers will have access to. So we think that's going to be fun. And then we've also started talking to some larger publishers about possibilities of doing work for hire for larger publishers. Because we see that a lot of the game developers here in Norway are actually doing work for hire work, but it's completely on a different field. Either it's working for the health industry or the oil industry, and it's swallowing up a lot of their time. And we want them to be focusing on game development on a commercial perspective. So we think it'd be good to at least start talking with these publishers about opportunities like that. And of course, try to see if there's if anybody wants to sell their game to a publisher as well. Of course, we want to get better at business development. Again, I feel like I'm repeating everything that's been said here the last 2 days, but we want to become better at understanding the market. Yeah, we're so fresh that I feel I could either stand here for 3 hours and talk about every single detail of my day, or we're going to go very vaguely into things. But I can tell you, for example, one of the things that we want to do with the market, we want to understand what the games market is. And Jeffrey, who was here yesterday, is part of that plan, put it that way. And then it's also, we've started engaging other business schools. So I have 2 master's students from NHH, which is School of Economics, is it? Yeah. And they've started looking into the mobile games market. And we've started looking at pricing models and everything. So I'm starting to get involved with the business schools and make sure that maybe we get some business students that start to become experts on these industries, and then maybe they can work together with the game developers. And wow. Distribution is, of course, something there as well. Again, pricing, what price should a game have? I mean, if you're developing a game for 5 years, is it, you need to have a plan on how much you're going to sell for and how many you're going to sell. All of this stuff that you guys know that you need to learn this stuff, but we want to provide that expert help for you instead of you having to learn, do your own business degree in the course of a month. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to say more, but I could. If you want to know more about how we're working about this, please just ask me and I'll send you a few pages. And we want to have more visibility. We want to make sure that the world knows that there is game development going on in Norway. And that's been sort of the priority at the moment because there is a lot of great game development happening in Norway. It really just is putting a spotlight on it at the moment. And we want to be good at networking, and we want to build up that network so that you can call me and I can say, yeah, you want to meet that person, and so on. So, yes, let's see here. I'm going to be talking. I'm going to try something out. I don't know if it works. It's not working. Okay. I just want to go by our webpage, which we launched in February? March? Was it March? Was it February? It was right before GDC. February, yes, it was February. And I can't get out. Let's see here. How do I get out of this thing?
I'm sure you're home and you managed to open the window. Just need to get out of the PowerPoint.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Wasn't responding. There you go. I'm going to put it in English. Well, I'm going to say, I mean, the website is thought to be two things, and we basically split it into the two different languages as well. So the Norwegian ones, you're going to find more resources for where you can apply for funding. Eventually, we will have more on how to apply for funding, and also the deadlines. Yes, excellent. The deadlines for the different types of things that you can apply for. At the moment, it's very listy. So this is phase 1. We're just trying to gather as much information as we possibly can. Phase 2, we're going to start making things look more prettier and user-friendly. And then, of course, we want to have as many events as possible. And there are a lot of events happening. So we try to keep up to date with everything that's happening. So there's Norwegian events and then there's international events. The international events are the ones that we think maybe are important for the game developers to maybe attend or exhibit their game. And it's really, really slow. Either that or I've deleted the page. That's also an option. Okay, wow. All right. And then the English one is also more of a window into the game developing industry in Norway for anybody from the outside, because we saw that it's always when you're live that you realize all the bugs. Okay, yeah. So we noticed that there wasn't any news sites in any way that was describing what's happening in Norway, and there is a lot happening in Norway. If I really had my way, I mean, if I had my way, if I could do what I really want to do, I think we would have 2 articles coming out every single day about news of what's happening in Norway, because there is a lot happening, and there's a lot of people getting awards, getting recognition, and we want to make sure that we put that on the map with these articles. Wow, okay. Yeah, so it's basically trying to, yes, there we go. We're trying to put every article out, both in Norwegian and in English, make sure that we highlight what's happening. Sort of boast, I couldn't pay attention, but boast of what's happening and not in the least the game developers. And then we want to have game developers in the spotlight. Right now we're about to publish a Rock Pocket Games interview. And we have this part called With Love, which is going to be articles from game developers in Norway talking about something that they think is important for the game developers to start thinking about. As you can see, it's still a little bit rough, but it will get there. I'm still quite proud of it. It's the first sort of tangible thing that we've gotten out of the Resource Center. And I do hope that you guys go on it. We're also on Facebook and Twitter, so please follow us because you'll find lots of news there as well. Let's see here. So another thing that we did was we went to GDC first year. We knew that it would be rough because we hadn't been to GDC before, and we knew that we had a lot of competition, but we thought we'd go for it and have our own little event. And was so happy that we got the Consulate General in San Francisco, the Norwegian Consulate General. She opened up her home for us, spectacular home. It was weird because you went in the door and you saw this picture of the king and queen. I was like, weird people. And then you sort of realize, oh, this is an official residence. And they opened up their home, and we were able to, I think we started out with having 6 game developers on the list to show off their games. But we ended up with 9 people because their game developers were coming. They were landing they were landing at the airport and coming directly to us and saying, hey, I want to show my game. And so we had a nice little handful of publishers, a few investors, and other people that might be interested in Norwegian games. And one of the things that was really cool, I thought at least, was that you can hardly see it. I hate that it's such a dark picture, but John and Brenda Romero came. Yeah, it was, and they came in right exactly when I was talking, so I completely lost it. But it went well in the end, I think. And that was very exciting. It was very exciting having these game developing celebrities, and they were very much oohing and awing every time some of the Norwegian game developers were showing their stuff. So that was a lot of fun. And I want to continue to do stuff like that. That was good. And I think it's actually going to be much bigger next year because it was seen as a successful event. It didn't go off scot-free, but I think everybody had a great time. And it was good for the Norwegian game developers to meet each other in the beginning, I think, and then also have an opportunity to start already rehearsing their pitch, right? So we had this on Sunday before GDC actually started. And the consulate were, I mean, they've sent me like 5 emails ever since, so they've been really excited because they're so used to having oil industry and shipping people, and you see these pictures from them, it's a very stiff company, and there we are just sort of, ooh, look at our games. It was a lot of fun. So I think that's gonna, yeah. It was, I hope that the game developers got this as well, but for me, it was very strange going to GDC and having John and Brenda Romero at the other end of the room saying, hi, Lynn, and they had all these fans around them, and I felt very, very, very important. It was a lot of fun. It was strange. So basically, in conclusion, what we're going to be working on is building the economy of the industry. And that, yeah, so both you guys know where you can get money and making sure that money comes into Norway. And then help you guys get better at business development. This is either by, no, both by creating courses if you want to. Sorry, I messed that up. But so we're talking to a lot of different people, like Innovation Norway, for example, about creating game-specific courses. So how to create a game business. So we want to have a very, very specific business development course with them. And then, of course, it is sort of building up the supporting industries like marketing and distribution and understanding of the market through the business schools as well. And yeah, we want to make sure that we shine a light on you, make sure that people know that there's Norwegian games out there and that they're pretty cool. And yeah, we will make sure to do that. And one of the things I'm particularly proud of is that we started, we had, no, sorry, I'm not doing a good job here. I'll go back. Okay. One of the things that we realized was that we needed to get expert help from abroad. We couldn't just rely on ourselves. We needed somebody who thinks globally, because we do get very, I don't want to say obsessed, but we started thinking about our own education programs, our own business development, our own, not in the least, the public funding part. We wanted to start bringing in people that were working globally, that knew how to sell globally, distribute, and be also great game developers. So we decided that we wanted to have this game developer in residence program, where we could get a game developer over to Norway and work with the game developers for a while. And so we got James Portnow, which I still can't get over that we actually got him. And he was absolutely brilliant. It was actually hard to tear him away from the game developers. He'd sit there for 6 hours talking to them about everything. And the really cool thing, and that's because of my job, I think this is a cool thing, is that Innovation Norway, that sponsored it, loved him and have basically guaranteed me that this program, they want to continue funding it for the years to come. So naturally, I asked Brenda and John Romero if they wanted to come in 2016, and they said, yeah. So, so we're working on that, and so it's yeah, I think that's also why I'm so proud, is that both the people, the public funders, and the game developers seem to be very happy with this. And we got an added bonus, which was an extra credits episode. And I'm just wondering, has everybody seen that? Up with your hand if you've seen it. Yeah, so we don't need to show it then, basically. Do you want to see it again, or no? You're all right. Sorry? Yeah. It's 6 minutes. So we're on 21 minutes now. I used up most of my time. Yeah, all right. We're skipping over that. And so, but we're kind of at a crossroads at the moment, because one thing that, the one thing that maybe I didn't realize going into this job is that it takes a lot of time applying for the public funding you need, and basically the hand-holding with the politicians that you need to have on your side. And there's a lot of bureaucracy onto there. And so me just being by myself, it's not really working out very well. So we need to figure out a way to either employ another person or do something else. So I'm doing something else. Because one of the things that I felt was very important, it was either we spent 2 years just working with the politicians and the public funders and just forget about you game developers and basically do nothing for you guys except talk about you excessively to the right people. Or we completely went broke and just talked to the game developers and helped you guys out. So what is happening now is that I'm stepping down from the resource center, and I'm starting a publisher for game developers, or for game development. Jesus, yeah, it's good. It's called Snow Cannon Games, and Jeff, who was talking here yesterday, is going to be a part of that publisher, and I think in about 2 weeks' time we can really show you guys the team that I'm very, very proud of that we're getting. So we're going to be working a lot on, yes, on exactly what a publisher does, and I'll talk about that another time. But we need somebody in the meantime to take over the resource center, and that would be Vida Toolsby. So if you can get it.
Hello, hello, yeah. I was suggested to try to fill Linn's shoes. They're quite big shoes to fill because you've done an amazing job. But I think we'll manage it, and I think we'll do a good job of representing the Norwegian gaming community to the rest of Norway and get our industry up and going. And basically making us visible and trying to get us more money. Yeah, because that's what we need. And as with Linn, we'll try to be as much visible as possible. So if there is anything, just reach out to us and we'll reach back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's going to be happening is Vida and I are going to be working closely for 2 months and have that overlap so that I'm not disappearing completely. But we've already started talking to people that want to give us money.
Yeah, nice people.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And so it's everything's good. Everything's going right direction. I'm just going a little bit on the other side.
Yeah, and Linn is basically trying to introduce me to her associates and people she knows from before, and it's much easier to get them to like you when they already like Linn, and then they say, hello, this is Vidar, he's gonna be the next me. I'm gonna do something even more amazing, and so we're basically trying to help you guys. Yeah, I think it will be fine.
Yeah. We're starting to sound scared, aren't we? We're going to be perfect.
Yeah, and if some people who have seen me probably asked me what I was doing here at the conference, it is true that I also work in Rain. But for Rain, I'm mostly applying for money and for Rain. So when I'm sort of not in the firm, I'm going to be Game Dev Norway, yeah. And the thing is that Rain has recently made Bergen Game Collective, as you probably all have heard. And if you are in Bergen on the 24th this month, that's 2 weeks from Friday, tomorrow, you are invited to the opening party, which is the official opening party of Game Collective Bergen. Yeah. And if you are in the city, please come, because Game Collective Bergen is also like a visibility project in Bergen, and so far so well. And the more people who come, the more visible we will be.
Yeah.
And it will be fun, very fun.
Yep. So just also to add, if any of you know who Peter Meldal, sitting there, the CEO of Rain, is. My experience with him is that he doesn't rave a lot about people, but Vidar, he was like, he's the perfect guy for this. So that was, it was without question that Vidar would be able to take over.
I'm very glad for the confidence. I will not let you down.
But we do sort of, I mean, I've talked to the Game Developers Guild about this, and it's not going to be a little bit confusing in the next month, but we feel very strongly that this creating a game publisher here in Norway is actually a good thing, and it's also a great result of the work that we've been doing for the last couple of years. And yeah, you'll be hearing more from me from the private sector. I'll be trying to sell you things. And then looking forward to the next couple of years. Thank you. Sorry, is there any questions? Okay.
Could you do a guest lecture or even a non-SETI enterprise entrepreneurship course?
Yes.
Good.
Okay. Any more questions? How many in here are game developers?
Or
Yeah, okay. How many here are students? Cool. Okay. Sorry, I had nothing to follow up on that. I was just curious.
Yeah, it's okay. Yes, thank you. We're getting pretty close to the end of this conference. Let's see, Pierre, maybe you can come down. Also, I want to end this conference with just some couple of announcements. So I'm really pleased about. Let's see, I'll turn off the. Yes, better. So the Game Dev Norway will actually at least fill part of the gaps when JoinGame is gone. So it's good. We have, when it started, there was like nothing in Norway, and now there's a lot of things popping up. You have the Spillmakerløg, you have a lot of different things. So we're even though it's kind of sad to kind of be finished with JoinGame, I think Norway's in good hands. So that's we're not leaving like a sinking ship. I don't think. Just a couple of things. First of all, one announcement. So, in September 30th, that's the last Join Game workshop in Trondheim. And that will be in collaboration with an conference, International Conference of Entertainment Computing. And this is the last conference, so it will be like a special edition conference with some celebrations, some looking at the history and stuff. And the board of Join Game will work to come up with something fun and exciting for that workshop. So
I'm pretty sure we will break some rules of that conference.
Yes. I'll just show, if you're interested in going to the conference itself as well, I'll just show you the trailer for the conference. So, let's see. Yes. Okay, so that's the conference.